Every night while I'm on tour with Cirque du Soleil, I have the same pre show routine. About 10 minutes before the show, I head to the artistic tent to wish my friends a good show. I hug Penny as she dangles from the pull up bar by her hair, stretching her scalp before her number. I go over to the musician's case to dig into their stash of candy. I know exactly where it's hidden, behind the violin, always. I sit with my friend Lizzie as she tunes her cello and does vocal warm ups. When it's everyone's cues, I tell them to have a good day at school. I watch them go through the tunnel, bending so that their animal headpieces don't get caught in the curtain. I stay backstage until the lights dim and I can hear the crowd roaring in anticipation of the show. And then I head back into the night to my trailer. I shake my computer awake and I get to work. It's June 2023 and I'm the publicist for Cirque du Soleil's latest creation, Echo. The gig starts with 8 months in Montreal of final stagings, world premiere, and a summer of shows. Then in 2 months, I'm due to pack up my life and head out on the road. So, in other words, I'm about to literally run away with the circus. But let's back up a little bit. By the time the job offer comes around, I've been back in Montreal for 2 years and things are just starting to feel calm again. 2 months after I got back, my dad was diagnosed with brain cancer and died after a 14-month battle with said cancer. Life is just starting to feel regular for the first time in years, maybe ever. I'm falling in love with my best friend. I'm on the market for my first home. My community is strong. Is now really the time to introduce more chaos? Is this really the time where I want to pack up and go? But on the other hand, saying no to the job feels like I'm making a definitive call about where my life is headed, away from the adventure and spontaneity that guided my 20s and towards something more beige, more monotonous. Plus, this feels like a once in a lifetime opportunity. Do I really want to turn it down? So, those who know me won't be surprised that I try to have my cake and eat it too. I tell them, yes, I will take the job, but with an expiration date. I'll start the show in Montreal, take it through the summer run, I'll do the first few cities, and I'll leave after Miami. I mean, you gotta do Miami. That way, I'm not leaving indefinitely. I'm coming back with grace and poise to enter my 30s, having left all of my chaotic energy behind. I'm sure you can tell how well that worked out. What I don't account for is the addictiveness of life at the circus. My job is to promote the show, so, through public relations, social media, stunts, you name it. The more I know the show, the better I am at selling it. So I spend those first few months completely immersed, watching stagings, shadowing the wardrobe department, learning about props and rigging and pyrotechnics. I fall in love with all of it. The eccentricity, the foul-mouthedness, the chain smoking behind trailers. But most of all, I fall in love with the passion and the feeling of being part of something bigger than myself. Thank you for the awes. That feeling intensifies once I leave on tour. Our first stop is Washington, D.C., or more accurately, Tyson's Corner, Virginia, an hour away from Washington, D.C. The adjustment is brutal. I do my best to make my hotel room feel like home. I throw a blanket my mom knit me on the ugly pleather sofa. But you can put lipstick on a pig. The pig will still be Tyson's Corner, Virginia. The reality is that I live somewhere where I can't open the windows and where said windows look onto a pharmaceutical headquarters and a parking lot. If I want to grab coffee, I have to take a 12-minute walk along the highway to get to, you guessed it, a Starbucks in a strip mall. But somehow that reinforces my attachment to tour. There's that feeling of us against the world and being separate and apart and special. One of the nights that most exemplifies that feeling is this one night we have in Miami. It's the end of the work week and we're having a Havana Nights party. Artists are washing off their stage makeup in the backstage sinks and crew is changing from show blacks into Hawaiian shirts and colorful dresses. They decorated all our trailers with paper garlands and paper lanterns that are blowing in the humid breeze, and the sun's just setting behind the palm trees. Everything's a little pink. The pictures I have from that night are a blurry mess. Damp hair stuck to forehead, pit stains on everyone's shirts, everyone clutching each other, laughing, the usually stern Russian acrobats taking over the DJ booth. It's warm, and it's uninhibited, and it's chaotic, and it's everything I love about this place. I remember several times throughout the night trying to pause and take deep breaths because I know even if it's happening, that I'm making a core memory. I taped the photos from that night next to my desk. If you were paying attention, you know Miami is supposed to be my last city. It's my third city. And I just can't bring myself to do it. Like, I can't quit. I'm addicted to life at the circus. The highs are so high, I feel euphoric often. And then when I don't, I feel angsty and antsy and trapped. The highs are super high. And when it's like that, I'm thinking, there's no way I could ever leave. And then when it's low, I'm thinking, well, I can't really leave now, right? Like, I have to wait for it to get better. It's a roller coaster. And since I feel trapped, or I think I am trapped, I start escaping my own body through more drinking, more drugs. Until one night, I'm looking at the pictures from that night in Miami, and I just can't grasp that feeling anymore. You know, what had once felt freeing now feels just completely suffocating. But then what? Won't everything be bland now? Just go back to a boring 9 to 5 and go to the gym as a hobby? I realize that that's the trap that a lot of my coworkers have fallen into. I have a lot of people around me who don't even seem happy. They just can't envision a life outside of this. And I realize that I need to go before I start thinking that this is going to be as good as it ever gets for me. So it takes me 7 cities rather than 3, but after that amount of time, I gather my courage and I quit. On my last day, they take me out for a final bow, as is the custom at the show. And by the end, when the lights go off, I'm so blinded by tears, I'm sure I'm going to trip on the mats and fall on my face. It's a really, really hard goodbye. And the transition back to Montreal is not any easier. That winter is filled with despair and the worst depressive episode of my life. No one is shocked. The girl who ran away with the circus has chronic depression. And, it feels really hard until one day it just doesn't. The spring comes and then summer and then fall, and I realize I miss the circus less and less. In November of 2025, I've been back a year to the day, and I'm hosting a dinner to celebrate the female friendships in my life. I spent all week poring over the menu and making paper garlands. When the night comes, I take in the chaos of my women around my living room and my kitchen, refilling each other's wine glasses and talking into the night. There's a crackling energy that I haven't felt since that night in Miami. And I realize, I was right to bet on myself. Whimsy is not the exclusive domain of the circus, and I don't have to pay for it with my sanity or my autonomy. I go to bed that night in my own bed, in my own home, no ugly pleather sofa in sight. I wake up the next day and I walk to my neighborhood coffee shop. I do the dishes and I mop my floors. I didn't realize that I even missed the boring things. I'm so happy I'm home. Thank you.